Good afternoon, my folks, my justice warriors. Let me knock everything over for you real quick. Just grabbing my handy dandy notebook. It's Sunday. It is the 20th of October. It's almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon. How are you guys doing today? And I do not have my mic plugged in. Oh my goodness. Can I do it without having to stand up? Without kicking over my everything? Man, I'm just a hot mess, huh? Come on. Okay, is it working? I hope it's working. Thought I plugged it in. I had only plugged in the laptop, so at least that's plugged in. And can you hear me now? That was so crazy yesterday with all of the attempts that I made at doing my live before I actually fixed the problem on my own. My husband had to go to the store, so he was there to help in the beginning. There's like a whole half-hour video of him just trying to fix the computer. I like to say my IT crew. And he couldn't get it. And I was trying to help because, I'm learning things. And he kind of knows everything. Like, he always gets things figured out. But then he had to go to the grocery store, and I tried more and more times. And then finally it worked. So I don't know. It was weird. It was what I thought it was, which I had tried a bunch of other times and it didn't work, which was like somewhere deep in your settings, there's like a mute button that you didn't turn on that just automatically turns itself on. And so I had gone to that a whole bunch of times and it wasn't on, but then suddenly it was on. So who knows? It's probably just like the deep state messing with me. Is everything okay with my bare shoulders? Sometimes I get self-conscious showing off my torso, I get self-conscious about everything, believe it or not. I try not to. Let's just get started and eat some humble pie. Please hit your like button if you don't mind. And let's see. Everything I say is simply my opinion for the sake of starting a conversation, hoping to open up a discussion and learn something and be educational. All my videos are made for YouTube. It's an entertainment platform. If there's anyone listening and you can hear me, if you could put it in the chat, I will put in the chat, can you hear me? Let's see. All right. So, can you hear me? Do I have audio today? So if I were just asking you and you couldn't hear me, then you wouldn't know that I was asking you. So I'm hoping that someone will come in and let me know, but I'll just go ahead and get started. If there's no audio, then I'll, delete the video or something. What I had discovered since I made my live yesterday, and thank you to everybody who watched it overnight. It was so exciting. I got over 100 views. Yay. And for me, that's kind of like my benchmark of satisfaction these days. It used to be 1,000. That's all right. Things change. My channel has certainly changed a lot. I've changed a lot. I mean, you guys have probably changed over the last 2 years, but it was interesting. I found, my algorithm brought up the videotape, the YouTube video of Kylie Rodney singing The Fiddling Man, right? You guys have seen it. I have the link to it in the description of my video from yesterday. And this channel that posted it 11 years ago, literally like, what was it? It was posted less than a week after it was recorded. So Monica Lee is the channel. I put a link to her channel and to this video in the description of yesterday's video. So I'll do that again in today's description of today's video. Anyway, I thought, wow, it was posted on February 1st, 2013. I'm glad I know how to look these things up because it's not as obvious as you think that it should be. Usually we'll say like posted 11 years ago and then ... And if you hit the ... it comes up right away, the date that it was posted. So then in her description, she put the date that it was recorded. So it was recorded on the 26th of January, 2013, and then posted on February 1st, 2013. And I was like, whoa, wait a second. So how old was she? I always thought she looked like she was about 7 in the video. It's hard for me to really tell because my kids are like jumbo. So, looking at her and thinking she's 7, I could be way off because my kids just make it hard to judge other people's kids. But she was exactly 7.5 actually, to be completely accurate. And she would have turned 8 that year in 2013 because her birthday is September 1st, 2005. And yeah. So Randy Brooks was the famous guy that she was jamming with in The Fiddling Man. And I remember some other channels talking about him being really famous. It might have been Ninja Chihuahua. It might have been Crime Stories Obsessed. But I don't know who he is. I did look him up a little bit. And the same day that was recorded, they also recorded Randy playing another song with some of the other dudes called I'd Rather Be Sailing with Governor Palin. And I thought, wow, well, that's cute. Not. I have a dear friend who was born and raised in Alaska and then came down to the States for college. And then she's since moved back to Anchorage, where she's from. And she told me that people up there in Alaska referred to Palin as Caribou Barbie. So just a little tidbit if you're interested. I thought it was hilarious and quite fitting. But, I poked around on YouTube because I'm like, well, is this being sarcastic or is this being serious? And yeah, it's being serious. They'd rather be sailing with Governor Palin because she is a beautiful Caribou Barbie or something, right? Wow. So that was recorded the same day at the lodge that they recorded Kylie playing Fiddling Man when she's 7.5 years old. And if you watch that video, she does not look like a happy camper. She looks very contrite and kind of snarky and miserable, basically. She really looks miserable. She really looks like she doesn't want to be there. It looks very forced to me, in my humble opinion. And the thing that struck me the strongest about this whole music video, and she is adorable, absolutely as talented as anybody could possibly be. I thought, could this be like right after the Alpine Club retreat of January? So I looked up 2013, and it is the last day of the Alpine Club retreat, Saturday, January 2013, the 26th. So it was recorded live at the Alpine Club, basically, or at the Lost Trail Lodge, basically the last day of the Alpine Club, because the Alpine Club, I think, happens on Friday night, and then Saturday, maybe people stay over Saturday night, and then they leave Sunday morning, I think is how it goes. I know I've looked into it quite a bit. And it's probably one of the very first Alpine Club events that the lodge hosted with Lindsay and Tony as the caretakers, right? Because we all know that they moved into the lodge and being caretakers there when Kylie was about 7 years old. So that would make sense. It really is haunting to me. It's really creepy. So I wanted to share that, and that's why I came on live today. And I've only been on for 10 minutes, but nobody's come in, not even a trusty moderator, which I didn't really text them. So that's all right. I'm happy to hang out by myself. I fly solo very well, right? So, what I was saying last night about my little synopsis of the Kylie Rodney mystery and the possibility that things may have started on that last weekend of July that was right before the weekend where she was reported missing. That's just one theory, but it creeps me out. So I don't know about you guys. I would think that most people that watch my channel are probably creeped out by that too. I was also really creeped out by the troll that came into my chat yesterday. I honestly like to take those things as a compliment when they happen, because I don't know, why are they wasting their time with me? And who the heck were they? They might have just been some random nobody, but I'm looking at my phone because I took some snapshots of some of the comments in Michelle Lee's comment section of the video from her channel. So somebody wrote 2 years ago, "How dare she be taken so brutally?" It has 7 likes. And I was just like, do they know something? It seems like Monica Lee probably knows the family, since she recorded this on site, I take it, and then she posted it 5 or 6 days later on her YouTube channel. It's a real small YouTube channel, but this particular video has gotten a lot of traction. So how dare she be taken so brutally really struck me, as did this one. I saw some names in the comments from 2 years ago that I recognize still. "Sweet girl, the world is fighting for justice for you. I'm so sorry you were not protected the way you should have been. You have touched hearts around the world, Kylie, and you will be missed." And then we got a comment from Ninja True Crime that's 8 months ago. "So very precious. This is why I will not stop fighting for justice for this beautiful child." And yeah, I agree. But it was the one right before Ninja's. "Sweet girl, the world is fighting for justice for you. I'm so sorry you were not protected the way you should have been. You have touched hearts around the world, Kylie, and you will be missed." So again, is this somebody who was closer in with the family and with the lodge and with the circle, and do they know something that we don't know? Oh man, it's just so frightening. It's so frightening. And here's the photograph of her, if you guys can see it, playing the fiddlin' man. I think that the guy next to her is Randy Brooks. And then there's a songbook behind her. The photograph looks like Jesus, but it's actually Cat Stevens. So that's just a screenshot that I took from the video. Very, very adorable video. I also put a video of her Far Away song with Crepe, and then I also put the video of her playing with her grandfather, 2 songs that are just absolutely amazing. She was so talented. And in The Fiddling Man and in one of those other songs, somebody is banging around pots and pans so loudly. "Oh, watching the world drift away. Happy Sunday. Thanks for coming in. Can you hear me?" let me know, please, if you can hear me, because you're the first person here, and I don't know if I have sound or not. Yes, thank you, my dear. That's awesome. What good news. So how are you? What are you up to today? I have to take my kid to a birthday party, so I don't have long. Mm. Hey, B, nice to see you again. And look at your cute little thumbs up, the shooting star. I don't know what. Oh, flowers and then coffee. Yes. So I've got my giant cup of coffee. Let me finish it off real quick. Lovely to see you both today. And yeah, um, where are you guys located? You know me, I'm in Ohio, and I used to be so squirrely about where in Ohio. And now I'm proud to say just a minute from Springfield, Ohio. So yeah, I have a lot of strong feelings about some of the weirdness with the politics of the season that I've tried to set aside and not talk about on my channel. I talk about them a little bit now. Yesterday, I think I talked about them more than um, I have before. I don't drink that mushroom coffee. I see that on the YouTube, and I'm like, what the heck? No, this is just regular Java. I love my coffee. Love it. And I consume a lot of moo in it as well. Politics, ugh. I know. I'm going to talk about it, though, for a second, and I hope that I don't offend anybody, and if I do, I guess sorry, not sorry. Um, the Donald, I guess I'll call him, has been talking about schlongs in his campaign in the last 24 or 48 hours. Like literally in one of the speeches, or actually it wasn't a speech, it was a conversation, he used the word schlong. He said Harvey Weinstein got schlonged. And I'm just like, even though I've never heard that word, believe it or not, and I Googled it just to be sure that I wasn't like misperceiving what it means. It means a man's body part or the act of copulation with those private parts. So this man said that Harvey Weinstein got schlonged, like that he was so rich and powerful, he should have been not schlonged so badly by the justice system. And then he goes on, this was in a speech, I think it was yesterday, it might have been the day before. He's speaking about Arnold Palmer, which, you know, we probably all know Arnold Palmer from the delicious drink of half iced tea and half lemonade, one of my favorites, with or without alcohol. I've been without for 15 years now. But yeah, I used to love it with some vodka in it, and I love it without vodka in it. It's just the bomb. I like my unsweetened iced tea and then sweeten it with some lemonade, and it's perfection. So I didn't know that Arnold Palmer was also well hung, but thanks to this presidential candidate's speech, now I know that he's hung like a horse. So why are you talking about these things in the final stretch? Like, to me, it's so disgusting and it's almost threatening. It's like, you know, talking about Harvey Weinstein, who was like the worst. Anyway, you know, it made me think of like the VJ monologues. Remember when that was a really big thing? And I never even liked to say what they're called, you know, the V monologues. It was like a play in New York City and everybody was talking about it. And it was just like, dear God. I mean, I just thought it was rude. And, you know, some of the monologues were interesting and funny. But, you know, it was like this whole political thing for women to be talking about their private parts. And it was just like, okay, you know, different strokes for different folks. But now it's like I don't know. What shall I call it? I like to call it the Johnson monologues. I mean, just because that's like the least pervy of all of the terms that you can use for the schlong. So again, I apologize. Should have given a trigger warning. Let me see what you guys are saying. Lady Twitch 843, nice to see you. Politics, I don't drink coffee at all, but I might start with that stuff. Yeah, it sounds like it might be interesting. I don't really know much about it. The main topics in this campaign are ridiculous with the state of our country. And Anna B says, hi, Jazz Drifting, everyone. And TMI, hello, chat. It's terrible. It is so freaking strange. I've tried to shy away from it for obvious reasons. It seems like so many people on YouTube are from that camp. And you know me, I'm very supportive of everybody having their own independent opinion. However, it's gotten to the point where it's so much of a threat and there's so much of a war. Like, I remember back in the 80s when people would wear buttons on their chests that said exactly who they were voting for. And I don't think people would do that nowadays. I mean, they'll wear it on their hat or maybe on their t-shirt, but there used to be like bumper stickers and buttons like plastered everywhere. But now that would start fights. I mean, it would start road rages. It would start arguments in the grocery store. I mean, like, what in the world? Like, it's just politics. It's just Republicans and Democrats. Like, honestly, my own perspective, 20 years ago or more, 25 years ago, I was so disgusted with the dangling chads with the state of Florida and the Gore-Bush election and that whole scandal with that state and those chads. I'm like, those things don't have a name. They're just like little pieces of paper. Okay, so now you've just ruined that very cute boy name for me. That was actually what I was planning on naming my son when I had one. I'm like, nope, that's not going to be his name. He's not a dangling little piece of paper off of a freaking ballot. Anyway, back to the point. At that point, I quit freaking voting because I was just like, what's the point if this is how things are going to go down? Again, we had kind of a very much of a Barbie type of governor of Florida at the time. Or was she like the Secretary of State and Jeb Bush was the governor? So the candidate's brother was the governor. And then whoever that woman was with the red lipstick and the red suit and the brown Barbie hair. I mean, she just looked perfect in her little Republican attire. And honestly, I thought the Republicans and the Democrats were like as bad as each other. I was just like, there's things about both parties that are very reasonable and there's things about both parties that are not. And as I've moved through my 50 some odd years of my life, there's times when I've leaned more one way than the other, but for the most part, I've been pretty middle of the road. I mean, I've got people in my family from both sides, and I see faults in both sides. I see assets on both sides. And I think it often does come down to who your candidate is. So what I want to say, this is what I want to share with you guys, is I just can't believe the state that things have come to. I just can't believe it. I can't believe that it's even a contest when you've got somebody talking about Weinstein getting schlonged and how well hung Arnold Palmer is. Not to mention the 40 minutes of rocking out to the freaking Village People, Sinead O'Connor, and a song from Cats called Memory. I mean, these are the things that were on that song list. That was okay. Anyway, thanks for listening, people. Let's see what else you guys are saying. I'm okay, thanks. Hope you're all doing well. I heard Springfield PD and officials are under investigation by the FBI. Makes sense why Trump brought up an issue, real or not. It's real now. Well, I know a little bit about that, and Springfield, the police department is, the chief of police there is a female, and I'll just be real, she also looks like a freaking Barbie doll. Um, and also the sheriff of Clark County, which is the county that Springfield is in, is also a female. I don't think she looks like a Barbie doll. She looks like a real person. But Springfield is getting sued by its citizens for not having enough police officers. I think it's the citizens that are suing the city. It's a very rough town, and there's been a lot of problems with crime historically. And then with the decreased population and the increase of basically hardship and drug use, I mean, it's a very lower to middle class community. I mean, there's certainly like the upper crust of Springfield, but for the most part, there's neighborhoods of Springfield, or a neighborhood of Springfield called Shotgun Alley, and that's what it's like there. And you don't leave a light on your porch because you might get shot if you do. And you don't drive through there after dark. But yeah. And that's just kind of typical Springfield. A lot of Springfield is like that. So, the problems in Springfield have nothing to do with the Haitians and with pets or ducks or animals getting eaten. So I can agree with that to some extent, but not so much with the artificial fake information that is creating more racist tension and more violence. So Springfield has also had a history of neo-Nazi groups coming in and doing their protests or demonstrations or what have you with their swastikas. And they're usually really small. They're like maybe a dozen people involved. So the city of Springfield certainly doesn't support it, but they also don't really have like a counter protest like there was down in South Carolina a few years ago when that woman, Heather, was run over by the car. But that's what I fear is going to happen if the Republican Party comes back to rally in Springfield between now and Election Day. So, that's a very Republican city in a very Republican state, and the governor is extremely Republican, and the mayor is extremely Republican, and they have begged the Republican ticket candidates to please not come visit. Please. Like I said, they have enough of their own issues. And at the same time, those two people that I just mentioned probably should be under investigation. So it gets really murky really quickly. So in that sense, I totally agree with you, B. Anyway, I'm voting for Trump. Schlong or not, we can't take another 4 years of this elite gang. Okay. I still call in 2020 asking if voting, and I said no, I do not partake in illegal activities. Despite the campaign speeches, because the actions are never followed through. Which prince would have had a fit that he used the song he wrote? Nothing Compares to You. Which prince? So Sinead O'Connor has passed away. So, I don't know who's got the rights to her music. I know one of her kids has passed away. But yeah, I wondered about that too, because I know like Celine Dion. Celine, am I saying her name right? Celine Dion and Taylor Swift were both very upset when he used their songs at his rallies. That is typical in any town, USA. Absolutely watching the world. I agree 100% with that. Um, oh, Prince wrote Nothing Compares to You. Are you serious? That's phenomenal. I didn't know that. How did I not know that, Annabise? Um, thank you so much for that information. I love knowing that. That is way cool. Dang. Yes, he did. See, I thought Sinead O'Connor wrote all of her own songs. Which reminds me of like one of the greatest Whitney Houston songs is actually a Dolly Parton song, right? The song from Bodyguard. Can't think of the name of it right now because you know how my brain doesn't work until I start typing into my Google. Um, let's see, Dolly Parton in Bodyguard. I Will Always Love You. That song that we all associate with Whitney Houston is actually Dolly Parton's song. So, yeah, she's also a brilliant songwriter. I mean, Prince was absolutely brilliant. Thank you. It's like someone flipped a high voltage switch and every emotion in people was intensified by a gigabyte. It's ridiculous that these celebrities get all upset, yet both parties buy their music. Yeah, yeah. Um, and I don't even understand how all that stuff works because I stay out of it. I don't generally use music in my channel. When I've played songs for you guys, it automatically like unmonetizes the video, and I'm fine with that. There's times where I'm just like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and play a song, even though it will unmonetize the video, or I'll just set up the video to not be monetized. So I don't know the process that you go through to purchase a license on YouTube. I know that Kelly from What's the Obsession does that. She loves to use songs in her cool little montage videos that she does. And like Shan plays a lot of music in the beginning of her lives. And you guys know how much I love music. So, I just leave the links in the description and talk about it. And for the most part, stay away from the whole thing about what royalties and getting permission. Yes, you have to get permission from the artist. I do not watch for a stage show. I watch to hear what they intend to do for the USA. Absolutely. Yet they collect our information from us and we get nothing from the third party buyers. Well, yeah, I mean, so much of everything online these days, and even when we're not online, when we just have our laptop or have our phones, they're recording everything we say and do. And they record our outfits, you guys. Like I was wearing a black rose printed halter top a couple weeks ago, the day that police officer pulled me over. And then later that same day, I got advertisements on my feed for black rose print halter tops. I'm like, okay, thank you for letting me know that you're not only listening, but you're watching too, which I already knew that. But I don't know that everybody understands that. So, yeah, it's important, I think, to be really careful. Like, I know I've been getting calls from medical bills that I need to finish paying off. And the first thing they want me to do is give them my birthday to verify that it's me. When they called me, I'm like, no, I'm not giving you my birthday over the phone. I'm going to hang up. I'm going to look you up online and I'll make a payment. So I think it's insane. And I've tried telling them that. I'm like, you can't call people up and ask them for information like that. That'd be like asking them their mom's maiden name or the city that they were born in, and then expecting them to give you that information or your address. You don't give that information out freely online or over the phone. You just don't. And it's shocking to me that if these companies are legitimate that they're doing that. And I think they're legitimate because I do hang up and then look them up and make a payment on my, old outstanding doctor's bills that I need to finish paying for. Dang. And I've mentioned before how it's like I have such great health insurance and also an HSA, a health savings account to pay for all this stuff. And it's just crazy how expensive medical information or medical treatment is, and how hard it is to access. When I had to see a specialist recently for my vertigo, I think I was scheduled like 8 weeks out, and then I called and was able to get in a couple of weeks earlier, like on a cancellation. Or no, I just said that I would see a different doctor. It didn't need to be that one specific doctor. So I was able to get in a few weeks sooner, but still I had to wait so long that by the time I got there, the vertigo had pretty much resolved, and this expert really wasn't able to tell me anything about like what caused it or how to make it go away, other than that what I'm doing is working, basically the yin yoga. So at least, and I do like even to consult with doctors, even if it's just to rule things out or to have them concur with what was already previous known. It is good to do that. But man, I mean, if I was really suffering and not able to get it under control myself, it would have been hell to wait that long. Absolutely. Let's see. 100%, and the mailbox is full of charities wanting donations. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know. Everybody wants your money. It's all about the money, honey. Literally every keystroke, photo, conversation, sign in, sign out, it is all saved to the motherboard somewhere. There is no protection online. None. Yeah, it reminds me of that one of my favorite Rolling Stones songs. Is it called The FBI Files? I think it's called The FBI Files. Or maybe it's called It Gets Me Down. Let's see. I used to be like an encyclopedia for Rolling Stones music. It's one of my first obsessions. Rolling Stones FBI Files. It's called Fingerprint File. You guys know that song? I'll put a link to it in the description. That is one of their very best songs, in my opinion. 1974, so that was after Brian Jones had passed away. And most of my favorite Rolling Stones music is from before Brian Jones passed away. I think it was Bill Wyman that replaced him. Not really a Bill Wyman fan, but the Stones were already rocking it, so it didn't really matter who they had with Keith and Mick and Charlie Watts. I mean, they were good to go. So anyway, I'm getting a little rambly here with Rolling Stones music. I'm going to log off so I can get my kid to the birthday party. And government insurance is free. They think doctors don't get paid enough, though, so they treat you carelessly. Oh, Anna B., you're hitting a chord with me for sure. I get lost and confused at motherboard. Yeah. I mean, our system, our whole economy, in my opinion, is built on the medical care system, or the failed medical care system, in my opinion. That movie, the movie, The Fugitive. That movie says it all. That, to me, is one of the masterpieces of our modern culture. And yeah, I mean, our whole healthcare system is designed to keep people sick so that they can keep ripping you off. And it's just criminal. It's absolutely heartless. And, we all have to take our own agency with our own health and our own self-care. And, That's why I'm constantly up here preaching about eating right and exercising and getting your rest and your hydration. I work in the medical system. It's effed. I know, Anna Bees. I work in the medical system too with mental health. I have for so long. Um, it's really messed up. Absolutely. And yeah, the price tags that were given, like, going to the ER, it's $1,000, but if you can't pay, you can get help with that. But it prevents a lot of people from going to the ER that need the treatment, that are having a medical emergency. Movie night, it is criminal. I thought Trump was the one to do something about it. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of false promises with all politicians, and yeah, I don't really feel like any politician is trustworthy. However, I think some are more untrustworthy than others. It's sort of like pick your poison, picking the lesser of two evils, and you know, um, I mean, we'll see what happens in 2 weeks and 2 days, right? I mean, we probably won't really know until 2 weeks and 3 days, but man, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the debates. I'm sick of all of the propaganda. I'm sick of trying to bite my tongue and not say things, and I'm really sick of the threat of Vance and the candidate that he's the VP candidate for threatening. In my opinion, they're threatening to come back to Springfield. And if they do, I think there's going to be this whole neo-Nazi thing, and the city just doesn't need that. But then the governor and the mayor, I do think that they need to be under investigation, and that there are definitely some shady things going on. So Trump isn't a politician, though. He is. I mean, he's in politics. I know that that's what he says. He's not a politician, but he is. His younger self, in an interview, he said he would run if it got that bad. Well, see, to me, he's a criminal. He's a convicted criminal, and yeah, he's loaded, and he's just not my cup of tea. So we'll leave it there. But yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody who's not a politician would be running for politics. I mean, I've actually ran for politics on a local level. I haven't shared this with you guys, but I ran for the township trustee a few times. And it is wild. I highly recommend it for anybody who hasn't run for politics. You learn a lot about yourself while you're campaigning, and it's very uncomfortable to campaign. It's very uncomfortable to promote yourself. And what I found even more uncomfortable was just that competitive desire to win. Because I'll be honest, at first I wanted to win based on my opinions about things and my ideas about how to handle things. And I didn't want people to vote for me simply because I was a woman or simply because they knew me. And then, by the time it's like voting day, I'm like, I don't care why people vote for me, just vote for me. I mean, it's weird. It gets twisted. And it does become like a popularity contest, and it's a lot of ego. It's a lot of ego. I don't think there's any way around that. And that's my opinion from my experience. And yeah, it's an interesting system. So I definitely think it's broken. I think that our government is extremely top heavy, extremely corrupt. So I think we can agree on that, right? Mudsling attacks. And I hate the mudslinging. I've always hated that ever since I was a kid. Absolutely. The untruths galore. Yeah. Well, thanks so much for being here, you guys. I would vote for you, Jazz. Oh, Anna Bees, just because I have my YouTube channel. I mean, running for township trustee is a big responsibility. I'm glad that I didn't win the election, because I don't think I'd like it. It's a lot of like agricultural stuff and things with, you know, the roads and, you know, when things happen like a storm, a snowstorm, or a hurricane, you feel the responsibility to go fix the roads and clean things up because it is your responsibility to make sure that those things are done. So yeah, politics just stinks. And you know, with my husband being in law enforcement, it seemed kind of weird that if he was in law enforcement and I was a trustee, not so much for the law enforcement, but he's also a volunteer with the rescue squad. So he's an EMT and a firefighter as well. And in Ohio, the township trustees oversee the rescue squads. So that could have been a conflict of interest had I won the election. But it's a very, very cool process to go through, I think. You know, somebody who was a township trustee recommended to me that I try running for office. And when he first said that, I was just like, no way, you're crazy. Like, why? And then I took his advice and I was glad that I did. And like I said, I was really glad that I didn't win, because those types of positions, it's sort of like being on the Supreme Court. Once you get in, you pretty much stay there until you retire. So it's a lot of guys. It's very rare that there's women as township trustees. It's very rare that there's women in politics, unfortunately, and also in law enforcement. So I have the interview. It's not untrue. Trump had no intention of being in politics, but he was an associate of Epstein and Diddy, so thinking he got close enough to know enough. Yeah, and that stuff's crazy. Like, he's flying around on Epstein's jet. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah. He lies all the time. He says he doesn't know people, and then you have pictures of him with these people that he says he doesn't know. And even the thing about Arnold Palmer, what Arnold Palmer's daughter says completely contradicts what Trump says about how he knew her father. So, you know, when somebody lies about something that's not even that important, then you can't trust them about anything, is what's important to me. Anyway, I do need to sign off. I do need to get my kid to the birthday party. And I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for being here. Hit that like button. And I didn't do the make sure you're still subscribed if you are subscribed. And if you're not, think about it and make sure you haven't gotten inadvertently unsubscribed. Share a video of mine if you think you know somebody who would like it, and turn on your notification Liberty bell to ring if you want to be notified when I come on live. Yeah, it's cool that I came on twice over the weekend because I missed my Friday live by doing a yoga video, and I'm hoping to do another yoga video. I don't know why he would be in talking like that either. Have a great day for everyone. Oh, Granny Annie, thanks for coming in. Peace out, you guys. Love and light. Thanks so much for watching and supporting my venture here with what I like to call my science experiment. See you on the next one. Have a great day.